Hello and welcome to this Christmas edition video tutorial on C++ programming. This is my third video tutorial in this series, and today I will be going over for loops and if statements. For loops is a type of loop where you can control how many times you want your user to input something, or control how many times you want to output something. So for example, let's just do something like this. For I equals for int I equals 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. Okay. And then I want to see out I. Let's run this and see what this does. Forget system pause. Also, later on in this tutorial, I'll show you another way to do system pause, which is, in my personal opinion, better. You'll notice that it output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all in a row. So this is just an easy example for a for loop. If we put this greater than or equal to, it should output 10, the 10th number. And after this, I'm going to go ahead and do end L. That way it brings us down the line every time. And we should have a countdown going here, or count up, I should say. Yeah, you'll notice it added the 10 this time. So this is just a simple version of what a for loop can do. You could do this another way. It's a lot more typing though, and I guess I'll go ahead and show you that. Cout. Let's go ahead and see. Let's use this same thing. I plus plus, and then into L. We'll copy this because it's going to take a while. Let's see, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and type integer I, and I'll initialize it to 0. Now this should give us the same result that we just had, but with a lot more typing. Oh, well, you get the point. It outputted 9 numbers this time instead of 10 because I forgot one more. But so that just shows how useful a for loop can be. Now, for loops, like I said, can be used to control how many times you want to output something, or how many times you want the user to input something. And so let's say if you made a game like a guessing game, and you wanted to make the user only have 3 inputs, you could use a for loop in that case. And so this is where that comes in very handy. But and you can put for loops inside of for loops, which I'll go over later when I get onto showing you how to make the actual package. And you know what? I'll go ahead and show you how to make a box, just a basic box, and by using for loops. So daggone it. I don't know why it does that. I think it's trying to make my computer run better. Yeah. Okay. For int I equals 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus, I want to, you'll notice that I'm using a different compiler. I really don't like this one. The formatting is really terrible on this, but it has the directory windows.h and con.io, which I will be using later, that Visual C++ Express doesn't have, or at least the 2005 edition that I have doesn't. But in case you're wondering, this is dev C++, and there's another alternative that's called code blocks with 2 colons in between the code and the blocks, and I've heard that that one is a lot better than dev C++. They're both free, so don't worry about that. So I kept it free because I have Visual Studio 2003, or yeah, 2003.net, but that's a $4,000 program. So so where was I? Oh yeah, cout. I'm just gonna cout a new line for every time that I'm inside of this loop. Okay, now you'll notice here on the for loop that I have the int. This declares, or I should say, well, yeah, I guess declares the variable, and it initializes it to 0. And then you'll notice each one of these are separated with semicolons. It ends this expression, and if you have commas instead, it won't work, and you'll get a compiler error. But yeah, just make sure you put the semicolons in there. Now I'm going to be nesting a for loop, which is what it's called when you're putting a for loop inside of another for loop. And I'm going to initialize a different variable, and this variable I'm just going to call it j. And then I'm going to make this one 0 as well. And j is less than 10, j plus plus. And instead of spacing in this one, what I'm going to do is shoot. Yeah. As you can tell, I don't like this compiler very much. Doesn't work very well for formatting, and this code will probably look terrible, but oh well. Okay, now what was I doing? Oh yeah, cout. I'm just gonna cout a character. So let's just make it asterisk, since that's what I'm going to be making the package out of. And we're not going to put an indel in here because you'll get bad looking stuff. But if I run this, it should work, I think. And this should output, yeah, see, it's got 10 asterisks this way by 10 asterisks this way. And so you can make all kinds of stuff with this. I was gonna actually make a Christmas tree for you guys, but I was short for time this week, so this is all I have for now. And so that's just the basics of our package. You can also set these things right here, like say you want this one's going to be actually columns, I believe, and this one will be rows. So let's go ahead and do something like this. Int calls equals, let's make this 10, and then int rows equals 10 as well. Forgot the semicolons. And then let's put this one less than columns and less than rows here. And we should get the same result here.